He has to play a big one. He has to be still there near the 50 over mark for India to have any hope of being competitive in this World Cup final.
We're talking about a point and a backward point that can easily be a catching position.
Well, some movement. He'll like that, Brett Lee. Pretty good pace as well. First up, 150 k's per hour and big away swing.
Well, it's the kind of pitch that every time the ball pitches, it gets a reaction. It's just not skidding through straight, and that's how generally the pitches have been in the tournament. The balls have come nicely onto the bat, not too much of lateral movement, but today it's one of those pitches where the seamers will have a fair say. Not when you see the analysis of the Indian bowlers. And again, there's some movement off the deck for Brett Lee.
This was always going to be a fascinating battle. Brett Lee versus Virender Sehwag. Sehwag will play his shots. Lee will try and bowl very quickly. It's good again. Let's check that speed. 150.6. Second ball of the spell.
Check the speed and as well as the movement, Mike. I think that is more significant, and that's what worries the batsman. Hits the seam, and you can see it leaving the right hander. A good foot of movement. And he's had a problem, Sehwag, in that region. And whether that will get him to play in two minds, I think he should be just looking to play freely outside the off. Some 3 slips now position for Sehwag. In spite of the fact, I think Mike has got to look to play freely in that area. If he plays tentatively, he's got no way out.
Lovely delivery. That is the perfect shape from Brett Lee at 154 k's per hour. Of course, Sands enormous pressure now on Virender Sehwag. Obviously, we've got Sachin Tendulkar back in the hut. Is he going to change his game, or will he play the same aggressive? Oh, is that the next man in, I wonder?
Will certainly get the Australian bowlers off the line. Very difficult to bowl the ball close to him. But I think you've already seen a change in Sehwag's approach. He's looking to leave balls outside the off stump. Not often do you see the man doing that, but clearly that's playing on his mind. He's being selective.
3 slips now and a gully. There's gaps in the covers, so they'll be trying to tempt him to go through there. Short ball. Hard to drive those. Big follow through from Brett Lee as well.
A very long follow through. But Sehwag wasn't looking at the bowler, did the right thing. Just looked down at the ground. Hit on the shoulder. That's one of his weakness, which the Australians will look to exploit. Well, it wasn't going to stop the follow through. Doing the right thing as a batsman. He's got his work cut out on the defensive at the moment, and that's the best way to go about it. Look down at the ground and look for the loose balls.
So 2 balls left in Brett Lee's first over. It's been a quick one to start. Can't get that away. 155 k's per hour. He's getting up there. There's confirmation of what he's done this over. 150 k's per hour, that first delivery, and it's got quicker since then. The 4th one dropped a bit, and now that last one is the quickest he's bowled in this over.
Very naturally quick bowlers, these. Brett Lee, Shoaib Akhtar, Shane Bond. Very often see them hitting 150 in the first over.
Spotted that, but it moved away some distance. So that's a good start for Brett Lee. That's a maiden from him. 2 overs gone, 4 for 1. For the last 5 games, that lineup has been unchanged. 7 batters, so they've got plenty of batsmen out there, have India. And
this morning to field first after winning the toss. There's certainly something there for the seamers in the pitch. And had the Australians bowled in the morning session, they would have got even more help from the surface. The Indian bowlers just didn't give us enough of a demonstration of how to use the pitch, but there is definitely something for the seamers. The Australians are just showing us that.
2 slips for Virender Sehwag. That's a lovely movement. Terrific carry as well through to Adam Gilchrist. Mid-off is quite deep, Darren Lehmann. Now, one One of the interesting things that the Australians would have worked on with Virender Sehwag is the way that he doesn't get back and across, doesn't really get in line to the quicker bowlers. I think that was a prime example. That last ball from Glenn McGrath just went straight back. They've got 2 catches in position, first and a second slip. By the time the gully or the backward point comes in, he's at a deep gully. He'll be in the game as well. Simons does the fielding, into the over, 1 from that, 5 for 1. Australia, 50 overs, 359 for 2. India at the moment, 5 for 1. And it's Sachin Tendulkar that's departed, if you've just joined us.
He's got a good record in all finals that India has played in.
First delivery of that over, 155 k's per hour. That's another beauty, except the fact that he overstepped. That's the quickest he's bowled so far, 156 kilometres per hour.
And Sehwag is looking nothing like the batsman who came into this World Cup top of his game, in great form after 200s the series against New Zealand, when all other Indian batsmen struggled to get runs. Today in the final of the tournament, with no big scores coming into this big one, seems a little tentative with everything that he's doing. 21.70 is World Cup average.
His best of 66 against Sri Lanka at this venue. Wide called, so overstepping first ball, second ball rather, and the third one a wide.
Well, just watching him, Sehwag, it seems like a lot is going on through his mind. But he saw the width, went for it, but it's a meek effort to score runs off a loose delivery. And then after that attempt, just shrugged and went away, sort of Ganguly.
That's a good shot. One bounce over the rope. He's picked that up beautifully as Virender Sehwag, and he's off the mark with a boundary.
Well, first delivery that was offline and punished. He's very strong in this area. Brett Reed trying to get it full, get the speed going. This is a pitch where you're better off just controlling your line and let the pitch do everything. There's enough in the surface for you as a bowler not to try too much. McGrath is a perfect example of how to use the pitch. If you try and bowl quick like Zaheer Khan did this morning, it doesn't quite help your cause.
Oh, that's a very good delivery. Well directed. Another quick one from Brett Lee. So again, the end at the last minute, going underneath it.
And he had taken his eyes off the ball. It was a quick delivery. He ducked into it. And you'll see here, definitely eyes off the ball. Had it not bounced enough, seen another batsman in this tournament, in this World Cup, getting hit on the helmet in similar fashion, seeing the back of the head. But really, this is a tall order for the Indian batsmen at the moment. It's really a battle for survival. What they have to achieve is a run rate of 7.48.
Another swing and a miss. Really no footwork at the moment from Virender Sehwag. You can see that he's annoyed with himself.
And again, you can see it's a tentative shot. You've seen the width. On a good day, in good form, that would be screamed through the covers. It was a nothing shot, and again, the reaction clearly suggests he's just not feeling right.
He hasn't had a very good World Cup, Virender Sehwag. Got off with 36, almost a runner ball against Zimbabwe, and maybe a 24 runner ball. High score of 66 against Sri Lanka here. 30 odd against Kenya. No big scores. No ball called. Damien Martin has taken the catch, but a no ball has been called. He's overstepped again in this over. No emotion from Brett Lee apart from annoyance. Damien Martin thought he was gone, as did half the Australian side.
Just the luck maybe Sehwag needs. It's a no ball. Some part of the foot has to be behind the line. There must be some nervous moments for the umpires when they call a no and a batsman is given out. It's also displayed on the giant screen here. Got it right, Steve Buckner. Damien Martin wasn't aware of the fact. That's the reason they're doing the big one. Steve Buckner, David Shepherd, they don't commit too many errors.
2 balls left in the over. Again, he's having a waft of that, but again, it's wide from Brett Lee. Steve Buckner's getting some exercise in this over.
And it's some bad cricket. The 2 top-class teams out there in the middle. It was a wide delivery, not a good one. Again, the line has been a problem for Brett Lee in this over. Already hit for a 4 when he strayed onto the leg side. And the batsman as well, not responding well enough. Looking to flick it onto the leg side. That's a very natural shot that Sehwag has. Damon Martin looking towards the dressing room, only to get the bad news.
Lovely shape again. Miles away from it, Virender Sehwag, missed it by some distance. The pace is too much for him at the moment. He's uncertain, he's not confident. He hasn't got the security of Sachin Tendulkar, I suppose, at the other end. They've batted so well together as an opening partnership, and he's really struggling at this stage.
There's some seam today for all the bowlers. Just the Australians are putting in the right place more often than the Indians did. Sehwag clearly looking out of place at the moment. All he needs is a bit of fortune, which he's got. Just a couple of shots maybe coming out the middle of the bat.
Simon's been busy in that region. Eventually that's the end of the over. 4 overs gone. 4. It's a good shot from Sehwag this time. Maybe the confidence is spreading between the two. Lee does well, but Sehwag with aggressive running comes back for 2.
When he hit that 6 sort of Ganguly, Virender Sehwag went up to the captain, punched his gloves, and this is what he needed. Sehwag has not been in great form, but he lost Tendulkar early, and that didn't quite help him. So with Ganguly playing well, at least in this brief innings, I just get him to gain his momentum.
He's played and missed again. That is the perfect line and length. Bit of a mutter also from Glenn McGrath. Once again, Sehwag not looking at the big fast bowler.
This time at least the front foot, when he was looking to play on the back foot, was in a better position. This will give us a good look right in the channel and just about ending up on off stump. Normally, even when the ball reaches the keeper, his front foot is on leg stump, very much frozen on leg stump. This time at least it was moving somewhere.
Over the top, has it gone for 6? Yes, it has. Square on the offside for 6. That's a good shot also, this time from Virender Sehwag, and that is a huge over for India. 19 runs coming from it, 5 overs gone, 33 for 1. They're up there with the run rate, India. It's at 6.6 at the moment. Just needed a fraction over 7.
Sehwag is quite strong when given the width, but this is the first time he's really given 100% behind the shots. It was intentionally scooped. Short side boundaries is an invitation for the batsman to play these kind of shots. So when they're looking to play the cut shot, a fraction of a second a decision is made because of the short side boundaries. Why not go all the way, scoop it up and go for...
There's a quick look back at what's happened so far in this final. 359 for 2 Australia. India need 323 more to win. Gone over the top of gully, and it's going to run away for 4 more. So they're really taking on the Australian bowlers now, these two, Virender Sehwag and Sehwag Ganguly. To talk you through the next half hour or so, it's going to be Michael Holding and Mark Taylor.
Thank you, Mike. Superb entertainment for the crowd, and they're loving every moment of it. I'm not sure Glenn McGrath's enjoying it too much, though. He's not used to this sort of treatment. That was very impeccable line and length, Glenn McGrath. It's not working at the moment. And another swing and a miss. Well, it's not easy to bowl to when batsmen are backing away and the ball's bouncing over the top of the stumps. I suppose, Michael Holding, you've just got to try and bowl a good line and length and work on the theory that if they miss, you'll hit.
Yes, it's pretty difficult when batsmen are backing away and running at you down the wicket. But you have got to just maintain your calm, your cool, know what your job is. And that was a good delivery from Glenn McGrath. He has to just maintain his line and length. Just about off stump, just short of a good length. He doesn't want to be pitching too far up because, of course, they'll just play through the line. I don't think the pitch is doing as much now as it did earlier on. There's not as much lateral movement. So you're not going to be looking to pitch the ball too far up to get that lateral movement and get the outside edge.
And a slight change in the field. Second slip's moved to a short gully. That's good bowling from McGrath. It's exactly what Michael Holding is talking about. Well, same sort of stuff around about off stump. It was a similar sort of delivery that picked up Sachin Tendulkar. The batsmen are going to play plenty of shots. You just got to hang in there and wait for a mistake. And wait for one of those to go up in the air.
And that one could have. It wasn't that short. What is interesting is the man at point is no longer walking and he's staying on the edge.
Well, I'm not really sure how that missed the stumps. Glenn McGrath had his hands on his head. Adam Gilchrist in the end did well to save 4 byes, but it must have been perilously close to leg stump.
That's why it wasn't called as a wide. Good umpiring again from umpire David Shepherd. Passed very close to that leg stump and just started to swing back to the offside.
Well, he's got the one back over Glenn McGrath's head. The straight pull shot. 5 from the over. 42 for 1. 6 runs per over at the moment. So it's a good start from India, having lost their star batsman there, Sachin Tendulkar, in the very first over of the game. It's a huge blow. Sehwag and Ganguly are giving it their best. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. I think Virender Sehwag may not have picked it up all that well.
I think he was expecting it to bounce a lot higher. I think this pitch has flattened out quite a lot. There is not as much lateral movement. Look at that delivery. That should have bounced a bit higher than it actually did. And I know Sehwag expected it to. It was short. It has pitched very short. Was looking to go down, but he kept his eyes on it. In the end, he took his eyes off, but he realized it wasn't bouncing very high.
Well, Mikey, I tell you what, he's very fortunate. It didn't bounce higher. He did take his eye off it towards the end, and in the end, the ball hit him on the gloves. Saved him what could have been a very painful blow. At least 1 for that. And in fact, he'll come back for 2. That's good running. Well fielded too from Glenn McGrath. The Australians are definitely trying to soften them up. This is what's been the Australian plan. Has been to bowl a fair few short balls early on in this World Cup. Try and soften the batsmen up.
Has a strong arm, Glenn McGrath. Very good throw right by the stumps.
Oh, that's once again glove or chest. Brett Lee, a big follow through. Maybe just a little bit of advice to the batsman on how to play the short ball. I'm not sure Sehwag needed it.
Well, maybe he does need it. Maybe he needs a bit of advice as to exactly what to do. That was a good bouncer though. Those are the bouncers that I like to see as fast bowlers bowling. Pitching off stump or just outside off stump and coming into the right hander, following him. In the end, he played it well, Virender Sehwag.
Well, once again, no words. It's good to see from Brett Lee. Plenty of fire. Keeping it all in check. Just the single on this occasion. The crowd really has come to life here. This is why they call it the Bullring Wanderers Stadium in Johannesburg. A wonderful atmosphere. When you get a game like this, a World Cup final. Australia with a mammoth total. 2 for 359. India, all they can do Just come out and play their shots and just hope for the best.
And perhaps hope for some rain. If it's rained out before 25 overs there.
They are today, and ground staff and all the facilities which are available to groundsmen these days. I'm not really sure why we don't just continue on from where the game stops on day one. Oh, lovely shot. This time Brett Lee over pitches. Sehwag smashes him through the covers. The 50's up. 1 wicket down and only 8 overs bowled. 20. And that way put the pressure back on Ricky Ponting. At least let them know that they're going after these runs. Nothing to lose. 7.2 runs and over at the start of this innings. It's now 7.35 required from here on in.
What is interesting as well, Mark, is the situation with the Duckworth-Lewis. I've seen
the South African president, Thabo Mbeki, there, enjoying the cricket. Lovely to have him along here as well. And being entertained too. Some wonderful stroke play. Wonderful atmosphere. And it looks like, to me, like he's enjoying every moment. 10 overs bowled, 58 for 2. Australia were 80 without loss at the same stage. That's over the top. And Brett Lee will do the fielding.
strong arm from Brett Lee.
No score. And the 3 men out. Sehwag on 26 and Dravid on 2. And there's the World Cup. That's what they're playing for. Australia, the holders. And another no ball for Brett Lee.
Charging in Brett Lee, looking for top pace, just stretching a bit too far with that deliberate stride. 4 no balls already.
There's 21 wickets to Brett Lee, 20 to McGrath. Jamin Devas with 23 as the leading wicket taker in the World Cup. Oh, another good short delivery. Very well directed. And Sehwag really is having trouble with the short one. It doesn't look like he wants to play the hook shot. He's not avoiding it very well either.
Certainly not playing it very well at all. At least he's surviving though, Virender Sehwag. This is Brett Lee's 6th over. Glenn McGrath has already bowled the 6. One doubts whether Ricky Ponting will go too much further with either. Perhaps another over at the most.
Oh, that's just past the outside edge on that occasion as well. He just hasn't made up his mind. Virender Sehwag, he's not sure whether he wants to play the ball or whether he wants to avoid it. In the end, he's doing neither. He's leaving the gloves and the bat in the wrong area. In the end, if he gets any sort of bat on that, it's going to present an easy catch to either Gilchrist or one of the slips.
In fact, that's the same sort of position that the man that's usually doing the catch in practice in the mornings will take, just edging the ball towards the slip cordon.
President Mbeki sitting back down, maybe just looking up to the heavens too, checking the clouds out. Another 14 over, 13 and a half overs are needed to constitute a match here. The second side has to face 25 overs to constitute a match. There's a few clouds out to the north. I just wonder if the Australian captain will be keeping an eye on those. What does Ricky Ponting do here, Michael? Does he maybe bowl one of his slower bowlers to try and get through a few overs? India need to be 158 after 25 overs, 3 wickets down to win the match. Ricky Ponting may be thinking about getting through some overs.
I think Brett Lee is the slowest as far as completion of overs is concerned, so you just may see one of the slow bowlers being brought on from his end. Still a fair way to go though, 13 more overs to be bowled.
We had some rain, overnight rain, quite heavy overnight rain. Fortunately, play started this morning. Sky was quite clear, but it does tend to move in rather quickly here. Quite a strong northwesterly breeze blowing. The locals tell me that generally the bad weather comes from the southwest. That's where you're looking now. Nothing major out that way. It's round to the northwest. There's a few clouds. And that's a good over from Brett Lee. 12 bowled, 62 for 3, India.
Becky, South Africa. Tony Backer with him.
Now Darren Lehman. Each time India lose another wicket under the Duckworth-Lewis system, their task becomes more difficult. Four. Good shot. They still need to make runs as well as make sure they don't lose wickets. Everyone's got to be thinking out there. Ponting's taken the first step by bringing on the spinners as a challenge.
I think it's as big a cheers as any from the Indian supporters, which because there's some rain in the air. They're thinking, okay, we'll get this washed out and we can start again tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be that much rain. It shouldn't be the case anyway.
We're inside the 15 overs, so the two batsmen out there, Sehwag and Dravid, will take the opportunity to hit down the ground or hit into the open spaces to pick up runs and reduce their deficit. There he goes again. So Ponting's got to make the tactical decisions. He's decided to try and get through a few more overs. He won't be able to see on the ground that behind the rain clouds there is some bright sky.
Sehwag's doing exactly the right thing. What he doesn't need to do though is get out. Because every time a wicket falls, as which I was saying to you, it starts to climb the rate quite quickly. The arm was that low with that delivery, it was almost underarm from Darren Lehman.
Bowled the last two very well. It's 76 for 3. Now Ponting's just taking a little more time. Now he's making sure he's got his field settings right. Can only 77 to 3. Sehwag on strike is 38.
A bit of a freebie. When you're trying to get through the overs, you still have to concentrate when you're bowling. That's short and wide, and really is a help yourself delivery. Hit it any way you want. He does.
Six. Favourite spot today.
And Ricky Ponting went in that direction. Virender Sehwag has done exactly the same. Good clean strike. Hit it with the spin. And a long way.
Man out of long on will allow only the single.
Bickle opens his spell with a wide. We'll have a look at the great moment for Vaz and also the Sri Lankans. Not so at the moment for the Indians, but another highlight, centimetres, 50 inches. It's the next World Cup on a wonderful piece of machinery. India now 96 for 3.
Not a bad shot. Plays some good start. Virender Sehwag drives, cuts, and then particularly severe on the spinners. He wasn't going to let them settle. That was a bit of a freebie. We'll just check the next one. Nothing wrong with that. That goes a long way. Well played, 50.
Now Glenn McGrath's back on, take the place of Brad Hogg. Hogg and Lehman. Bowled.
One goes up against your name.
Now the lights have been put on, although the light's better now than it has been in the last half hour. The sky's clearing, although we've got some rain. There is a man out there, but he's not going to be able to get to that. $100 up for India. So we've got a very exciting contest on here. India doing well in the face of this mammoth target set for them by Australia.
Well, India must be thinking, oh, we keep going like this. If we do come up at 25, we could be in a position where we win the game.
Well, they've got to be thinking all the time out there. Their reasoning now will be that there's every chance it will be a 25 over match. Now the rain's coming down heavy.
I think they might have a chat after this ball, the two umpires. But I agree, I think it's only going to be a short break. Not very long at all. It's the brightest it is now, and it's raining the heaviest. Who'd be a weatherman?
The batsman's turned to Steve Buckner, who's turned his back on him, but they will come together after this ball. Umpire Shepherd's going across to umpire Buckner now. The sun's coming out as well. We've got the lights on. The umpires are saying bring on the covers. A lot of Indian supporters think that's the end of the game.
I think they need to read the rules, Richie, because this will be a very short break. Short and sharp. And I expect them to be back out there very shortly. 17 overs have been completed. 25 is needed to constitute a game. So what India will do is have a look and see how many runs they need. Should it be 25? And I think we could have a clear evening after this has gone past. The worst of the rain is passing away to our right as we sit in our commentary box. That does look quite heavy out there, but it is heavy at the moment. The sun's out, the lights are on. As you can see, it really is quite bright. That's the rain that's gone. That's way over to our right. And the rain is coming from a little further to the left as we look now. And that's about the area out there, which is much brighter. I think there'll be a bit of rain, maybe another 5 minutes, if that. I don't think it's going to have very much of a bearing. In fact, be easing off as we talk. Frustrating. No one wants this though. Players don't want it. Crowd doesn't want it, unless, of course, you think you've got a chance of a rematch tomorrow.
All right, well, let's have a look at what the situation is here. Umbrellas up, rain coming down. India 103 for 3. The lights are on, but the sun is out as well. If you think that's complicated, you should be sitting here watching it. Now, let's just have a look, first of all, at the Indian batting. 103 for 3. Tendulkar out for 4. Ganguly for 24. Mohammad Cave naught, and Dravid 12 not out, with Sehwag 56 not out, and that's in reply to Australia's 359 for 2.
I think the crowd that have turned up today would certainly love to see a proper game, but I think a lot of them, or perhaps most of them, would like to see that being played again tomorrow, because I think India have a lot more supporters here today than Australia, and if they start all over tomorrow, even pegging, I think India may consider themselves to be in a much better position than they are in right now. Sehwag is going well though, 56 to his name, just 55 deliveries, and the Bickle to continue.
Now he's got to start all over again. Bickle starts off for the wide, in fact the bowler as well as the batsman. But Sehwag was going nicely when the players went off the field. 56 from 55 balls.
Seven fours, 2 6s for Virender Sehwag.
And good line by Bickle. And what the Australian bowlers will want to do is just keep the ball in the right places. They know the Indian batsmen have to take the risk. The required rate is 7.8 at the moment.
And Ricky Ponting, of course, has decided now, with the weather as it is, more than likely it will go the full distance. So he doesn't have to be over-attacking. No slips. 5 men inside the circle, though.
And there is a deep square leg, so just a single. And that'll bring Dravid on strike, apologizing later. In the air, leading edge, just out of the reach of the bowler.
Was a fair way away from Andy Bickle, but he was still intent on trying to get there.
There is a man at deep point, but no slips in place at the moment. 4 men in the ring on the offside. And he's found the gap, Sehwag. He'll get a couple.
Of course, with that rain, the outfield would have slowed down a bit. That's another negative for India. This is obvious, the line is off stump. 4 men inside the circle on that offside. 2 others deep. 3rd man as usual, man on the point boundary as well.
So that single brings up the 50-run partnership. 18 overs have been bowled. It's 109 for 3. So the second 50-run partnership of this Indian innings. Still to come, Yuvraj Singh, and they've got the extra batsman, Mungia. Then the bowlers, Glenn McGrath on his way. Good fielding. And was hit hard by Sehwag. Bradley Hogg was the fielder.
Trying to find the gap that he found in the previous over. That would have been to Bradley Hogg's right. Third man.
And hence couldn't quite get the accuracy he was looking for with the throw.
Still doing something when it hits the seam. But certainly it's a lot better for batting now than it was when Australia batted. Looking for that area of the ground again, that backward point area. If he gets it in front of square on the offside, there's cover there. Gets it too fine, there's the third man.
Now Virender Sehwag flashes hard, and you can see the Australians realize that they're right on the edge of the circle. Point and backward point. So it gives them the extra bit of time. And he doesn't mind taking the aerial route when he looks to hit in that direction.
McGrath quite happy to continue bowling that line. Brad Hogg, the finer of the two, he comes in and stops right by the circle.
Still can't get it. 6 of the over, 115 for 3. $115 for 3. Scoring rate of India have to get a respectable score. And still Yuvraj Singh to come. He's one man who can hit the boundaries. He's a clean striker of the ball. So India opting to play with 7 specialist batsmen. Got Mongia coming in at 7. And then the bowlers, Harbhajan Singh batting at number 8. You really feel, just get the feelings, Sehwag getting a little edgy out there. And he's going to try something, even look to improvise. Brilliant. He's such a good fielder in that position, Ricky Ponting, and he's always attacking the ball. And that ball was travelling quickly, but have a look at this.
Thinking about throwing as well, Ricky Ponting. Decided not to. He wanted to take the chance of Brett Lee not being able to back up on the other side of the wicket.
He's got that away on the onside and plenty of bat on it. Beats mid-on, finds the boundary.
Sehwag hasn't had the best of World Cups, but he's certainly doing well now, coming to the party, as they would say. Very upright seam from Andy Bickle, but Sehwag keeping his eyes on it very well, rolling the wrist. Just see him playing over the ball there, making sure that it goes to ground quite quickly.
Moves on to 65. Well, the best score in the tournament for him is 66. That was made on this ground against the Sri Lankans. See, otherwise nothing to write home about. He got a few starts but didn't really go on to make the big score. Fine shot. He's found the gap again. This time he won't get the boundary. 7 runs coming off that last over. 122 for 3. .122 for 3. Australia at this stage were 126 for 2. So not much to choose between the two sides at this stage. But what happened in the last few overs, the question to be asked.
Inside the circle when Rahul Dravid is on strike. Not so for this man though, he needs to have a bit of protection in the deep.
Well, he goes for the big one. He's not going to waste time with Bradley Hogg. He's found the boundary, Sehwag. He feels that's India's best chance of just gaining some momentum.
Well, this is a story when you're playing against Australia. You've got to try and survive the Brett Lee, Glenn McGrath onslaught.
He was hitting against the spin there. This time he takes the single.
If you can survive that Brett Lee, Glenn McGrath onslaught, you have an excellent chance of certainly scoring at a much quicker rate against the other bowlers.
1 ball remaining in this over. Will he look to keep the strike or look to hit the big one? That's the question to be asked. Can't get it through. 7 again off the over. 129 for 3. So there you see, nothing much to choose between the two sides. India have lost the extra wicket. But a great finish for Australia. Andy Bickle will continue. Now there's the mid-wicket for Virender Sehwag. Got a boundary in the last over in that direction. So just 3 in the ring on the offside. You can see a mid-on and mid-wicket. And there's 2 men in the deep. There were 4 in the ring in the last over. So 1 man has been taken off from there. So clearly suggests the line is going to be much straighter to Sehwag. Gives himself room and just out of the reach of Bradley Hogg. A valiant attempt, got 1 hand to it, but the ball didn't stick.
Great attempt though. Sehwag giving himself a bit of room there, trying to hit through the offside. Went to his weaker hand. Bradley Hogg, of course, being a left-handed bowler. Almost. 1-4. Not quite the same form of scoring by Virender Sehwag. He has 9 4s and 2 6s in his 72.
Just 3 runs in that last over. It's 132 for 3. .132 for 3. 22 overs have been bowled.
Without 4s or 6s.
He'll look for the big one. And he gets maximum. So Sehwag carries on to fight for India.
Well, he's the man that India are relying on. Sachin Tendulkar went quite early. He has to take over.
There are 2 men on the onside on the boundary, long on and deep mid-wicket. It's in front of the wicket. But Sehwag's the kind of player, he'll still take them on if the ball is in the right area. He'll look to go over the top. That was quicker. That won't have missed the leg stump by much.
Got onto him very quickly. I think Virender Sehwag thought this was just a rank long hop. It was more of a flipper. Got onto him very quickly. It was just a rank long hop. He certainly would have had the time to play that full shot.
Terrific hit. One bounce over extra cover. 13 taken off the over. It's 145 for 3. .145 for 3. India maintaining a similar run rate to that of Australia.
To maintain scoring rate required, you've got to score at both ends, and the Bickle making sure that doesn't happen at the moment.
Sehwag has to hurry. He's gone. A direct hit. The third umpire called for. The Australians are celebrating. It was Darren Lehmann running in. It was always going to be a tight call. The call from the commentary box is gone.
Definitely. Don't think there's any doubt here. As we have seen on so many occasions, when you hit the stumps full on, that extra fraction of a second that it takes for you to get the ball and take the bails off, usually the batsman gets in. Well, the third umpire is Rudy Kurtzen. He's a television umpire. He'll be the one making this decision. Don't think he'll have too many problems making this one.
Now that is a huge blow for India. Virender Sehwag had played so well. In fact, he started off slowly. But then when you saw that, he seemed to have made some ground. The problem was he had to run round the bowler and could not run straight. That might have taken a couple of yards off him. Short of his ground by a couple of yards. Good direct hit from Lehmann.